All right, let's go through some dating app profile tips to be the most authentic version of you that you're putting out there, so that you stop wasting your time with people who aren't in alignment with you, who you just kind of weed out the ick. Now, for the first couple of years that I was out on the dating scene after divorce, I tried to make myself the most approachable, attractive, easily to consume version of me to get the most attention, thinking that's how you played the app game, if you will. And then I realized that I was spending a lot of time dealing with men that just were never going to be compatible with me, that I was getting annoyed with the dates I was going on. I wouldn't want to go on them. And I was kind of doing what everybody else was doing with apps. And so I decided to put on my little marketer hat, because I've been in marketing for a very long time, and go, my target audience, my ideal partner, what would I want them to be drawn to me for? Right? So a lot of people just put pictures on there, and that's all they have on there. And then they just want people to be attracted to them to like start the conversation. But that actually is a very small component of compatibility. You can find chemistry and connection with people who don't photograph well, or who aren't all that you wouldn't necessarily be drawn to or attracted to. But long-term relationships, you need to be compatible with that person and the vision that you have for your life and who you are. And so that's what I lead with throughout my profile, is being very, very, very apparent of who I am, because I'm trying to turn off the wrong types. Like, very intentionally want people to look at this who wouldn't be compatible with me and go like, ugh, yeah, no thanks, if they take the time to read the profile. And sometimes that gets a little obvious. So now, I don't get to choose which photo Hinge puts out there, because it's got that little, it'll pick the most popular one. But I have a mix of up close so you can see my face. I don't have all of the filters on there, just really good lighting. If you stand in front of a window, lighting, chef's kiss. You don't need to put on all the filters. So I have, first and foremost, this is actually me, the most made up that I am on all of my photos, because I was speaking at a conference and I like showing off my legs because I've worked hard for those bad boys. Also wanted to show a full body, because I don't want to show up on a date and have somebody feel like I've catfished them, or that they're getting something that they didn't expect. So that's really important to me. So I do have a very dressed up photo here. Next up, I have on Hinge specifically, I have the question that I normally start with on Bumble if I'm on Bumble, which is, hi, I'm Tara. I want to know what the most common problems that you experience on dating apps, and let's see if we can work together to solve for it. Now, I had just gotten done hiking. I had been on a 3-hour road trip to go on this hike, when I was thinking I wanted to update some of my profile just to make it more me. And I didn't think I looked that good this day. I was like, this is a really natural look for me. But it's honestly how I spend most days, and I'm usually at the gym and then working from home. And so this is a pretty accurate reflection of how I show up just in my normal everyday. This is not the most polished version of me. And I wanted them to get familiar with how I speak and the way that my mouth moves and my voice, and start to get familiar with me. So yes, it felt vulnerable to put something that wasn't super polished and made up, but honestly, this is how I show up most days. So I'm not trying to put out there a fake or most made up version of me. If I want a partner that's going to see me in every day, I want them to be drawn to this version of me too, because this is how I am most days. Oh, also, that gives them something to respond to. So I'm asking them a very specific question. That question I like because it comes from a place of teamwork. So the question I'm asking is, what is it you experience on dating apps that you don't like, and how can we work together to avoid that? So it is having them tell me their main pain points with using apps. It also helps me determine how jaded they are. You would be surprised. Well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised. I mean, yeah. Dating apps, I get a lot of men who will bitch and complain about other women from the app and just rant negatively about what they're experiencing on the apps. To me, that's a red flag. That's somebody who's jaded. It's going to be hard for me to, no matter how amazing and wonderful they are, it's going to be hard for me to access them and get them to open up when they're so jaded by the apps. If you're that jaded by the apps, get off the apps and take a break, right? Come on with a good energy so that your ideal partner can actually start to meet you, not the bitter, angsty, screw women, nobody responds back. Now, somebody who can share just kind of their main problems without it becoming a rant, great. I usually, the guys that I interact with for the most part say, wow, that's a really great question. And then they share a little bit, and then the good ones, the smart ones, ask what's my main issue. Okay, now we're starting to get into some prompts. So what do we have in common? This is, again, one of those things that they can respond to as part of their likes. A high level of self-awareness or emotional intelligence, great communication skills, and an ongoing desire to understand your partner, or heart for serving and helping others. All of those are very, very true for me and what I would be seeking in another partner. So as somebody scrolling, it's like, okay, they saw a pretty picture of me. They like the legs. Cool. Then they hear me talk and they see a more natural version of me. And now we're starting to get into like who the fuck I am. And I want them to get more and more excited, the right partner, more and more excited about what they're learning about me. And I also want the wrong partners who aren't self-aware, like think it's annoying that people go to therapy, or just like think therapy is ridiculous, that don't want to communicate and feel like that's just like talking about problems, and they don't want to seek to understand, and they certainly don't care about helping others. I want them to go, ugh, right? Because I want the right partners to get more and more excited about me as they start to learn more from my profile. Then above this, I had a voice memo prompt where it was asking them what they're the go-to for their friend group, like what do their friends come to them for? And that's actually the one I think that gets the most responses. Again, you want to give them something to respond to so they don't have to come up with some cheesy pickup line like, hey, did you fall out of heaven or something like that, right? Like give them something to actually respond to so that a conversation is naturally and organically started. Then I get into more me, right? Very self-aware. Like if you haven't noticed, I have an entire TikTok account on self-awareness. Like it's important. I do enjoy personal development, right? I prioritize mental and physical health with therapy and CrossFit 4 times a week, looking to co-create a conscious lifelong partnership. I can guarantee like 90% of the people using these apps don't even know what that means. If somebody comments on that and they know what that means, fast pass, front of the line. But yes, that's very intentional language to see who picks up on that, because it is absolutely what I'm looking to create. If you don't know what that is, you can DM me and we can talk about it, or leave a comment and I'll respond to it. But that to me is like essential of what I'm looking to create. I'm running out of time. Okay, so then I fill out everything in this to be very clear on who I am, what I want, what I believe. It's really important if you are wanting a relationship to put that here, and then also seek out people who have also put the type of relationship that you're looking for. Or if they don't have it filled out, to me, that's a little bit of a red flag. Like if you want partnership, if you want a marriage, if you want that, why are we not putting that out? Why are we not filling out our profile? Okay, so if you find that you're getting kind of weird men or who emotionally unavailable or don't want the same things, this is going to be your main section to avoid the pretty people that don't have this filled out. If they're pretty and they have it filled out similar to what you want, go for it. But if they're attractive and they only have photos on there and this isn't filled out, chances are they're not looking for the thing that you're looking for, unless you're just looking for a good time. All right, so we've got a couple more photos. I've got a video with me and my daughter kind of showing, again, the full body in motion, and that my daughter actually gets a little bit spicy, which you'll see, well, you may not see here in a second, but she gets real mad. And I'm like, well, that's part of my life. So I don't just say, I love to travel. I actually give context to it of like, I want to go to Lake Louise in Canada and the Christmas markets in Europe because I want somebody to go with me. And then my love language is words of affirmation. I'm really fucking proud of this. Yes. So we show it off because we's the gym baddie. And then I've been told I'm a breath of fresh air in dating and have a stellar ability to communicate and hold space for them. And I want somebody who wants that from a partner, who understands the value of that. This is me after a date night. So if we go on a date night, that's going to be how I show up. And then these are me with my friends. So it's giving a really well-rounded picture between some professional photos I've had taken for work, me as a mom, kind of after the gym, me natural, me on a date night. So it's giving up close shots of my face, and it's also giving, full body in different ways, so that when I show up on a date, if we get to that point, there should be no surprises. I should be exactly who you think I am to that point, right? There should be no physical catfishing kind of a thing, and I have the expectation of men to do that as well. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration and ideas of how you can be authentically you and put your best foot forward, but a realistic, authentic version of you out there. And I will preface this with the version of my profile now looks very different than how I did years ago, because I did not have a lot of self-worth coming out of my marriage. I did not have a lot of self-love. I did not feel confident. And so part of that has been my own internal journey to be able to love the version I am and be okay with somebody not loving that version of me, because they're not for me. So the more you love yourself, the easier it is to put your most authentic self out there.